time to rev it up. Yes, this is basically, we're back to Chainsaw Man. Anime Review, episode number 12. We are discussing the 12th and final episode of season 1 of Chainsaw Man. Now, the thing with Chainsaw Man is that I have not heard anything if there's going to be a season 2. You're probably thinking, should there be a season 2? I'll discuss it a little bit later. Now, this episode is kind of mostly wrapping up the arc that is known as the Katana Man arc. Mostly anyways, but in actuality, no, it did not. It pretty much had the main story, yes, but it didn't finish adapting the epilogue. They adapted for this episode, chapter 35, pages 619, the entirety of chapter 36-37, 38, which is the penultimate chapter of the arc itself, because 39 is technically the finale for this arc. The thing with chapter 38, they have the 2 through 22. And if you're curious, this chapter is 25 pages. For some strange reason, they decided not to adapt the last 3 pages. Plus, of course, they decided to adapt 1 page from chapter 52. The reason for it because they debut a new character who could potentially be in season 2. So, episode starts off with, well, basically we're going to combat. Now, Katana is not in the episode. Mostly put, basically, we first see Denji in the episode. Well, actually, first we see Aki take care of a spider creature. And this sort of spider demon. And there's a flashback to when he first met, well, Ikano, his partner, who was later revealed to be in love with him, despite the fact she was older than he is. And trying to smoke despite the fact he's a minor. And eventually, after he's being... Next, we see Denji in power in an elevator. Yes, seriously. And if you're curious, did we skip a scene? No, this is basically how the manga presented it. And we see Power eating a arm of one of the devils. Now, from their perspective, this is basically after of that brawl from last episode, where they and the hunters took out a bunch of other devils, and they go up, and then of course Power does her own thing, and of course Denji just rolls his sleeve a little bit, pulls out his chainsaw cord, and then we see the Katana Man, which, by the way, I praise the fact that Denji's voice actor actually got a manga line in the episode. It was like, there you are, Sideburns. Which he said also in the manga too, which I'm so happy the fact that the actor did it. Oddly enough, in case you're curious though, Power doesn't really speak very much in the episode. Actually, I don't think she hardly speaks at all. Which is kind of weird. I'm sure Sarah's not happy with that. The fact that probably one of her favorite characters, she's probably voiced in recent memory, is just not got much lines or barely says anything at all. So basically, it's like, talk about how he killed his grandfather and his friends, because the Katana Man is the grandson of the old man from the first episode. Yeah, that's the strange thing. He's here for revenge because he wants to kill Denji for killing his grandfather. And he's like, do you want to atone for killing him? He's like, nah, not really. And of course they try and apologize, and then of course they just, the Cyborgs Man turned to they referred to him as the Samurai Man. This I think his title is Katana Man. I never listened to that for the series. And he and Denji basically saw a big, humongous fight where they fall out of a building, go on a freaking train, battle on top of a train. Of course, Denji bragged about the fact he basically was a brat that talked about power, and of course with a smoking hot boss. And they fight in the train. By the way, they're fighting in a freaking bullet train. Actually, I think it might be like a different type of train. So they fight into the car, and he beats them, and then the fight lasts for quite a while. Kazu basically go freaking crazy over seeing two devils fighting each other. And then eventually, the Katana Man's beaten, and then we see apparently off-screen Denji has reattached his arm, And it looks like he's tied him up with looks like to be chainsaw cord. Yeah. Then of course like, well, I'm gonna leave you tied up for the police. Meanwhile, I'm gonna start my own tournament. He's like, and of course Aki shows like, what tournament? Kicking him in the nuts for killing Hokuno. And eventually Aki's like, nah, eventually he thinks like, no, let's go ahead and basically beat the crap out of him. And he's hauled away. And then we see, basically, we have Makia basically just debriefing over what happened over the course of the last few episodes. And then we see Aki, Power, and Denji just go out shopping and just having a dinner. Denji and Power falling asleep. Then we see Aki go outside, sitting in his nice, comfortable chair that apparently was routine when he first showed up with the series. I think with episode 2 or 3, where I guess now when we first see him do this, it's daytime and he's reading newspaper. Here he's just sitting down and he just lights a cigarette. And the cigarette is written on it says Easy Revenge. He lights it up, and then we get this. I thought was kind of weird. I thought it was basically watching the first episode again. We have a POV shot of somebody walking to a door. Turns out this actually is Denji. And here's something interesting though. We actually hear Poochie's voice again. First time since episode 1. Welcome back, Lindsay Seidel. For maybe probably your last appearance, probably in a while. And of course Poochie tells him, do not open the door. And then we cut to a mysterious woman just walking through an alleyway. Is apparently for something really big. By the way, this is revealed on Twitter that one of the voices of this woman in the English dub is somebody who I have met too. Like, wow, I met like 3 people who worked in this anime. There's Sarah Winehoff, who voices Power. Lindsay Seidel, who voices Poochie. And this mysterious woman, someone who I met just last year, Alexis Tipton. Yes, Alexis Tipton voices the mysterious woman. Who is the mysterious woman, might ask? This is Rai. This is her anime debut. Just a tease for her potential season 2. She's basically the main villain of a whole story called Bomber Girl. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it to talk about for this episode. It's a damn good episode. I gotta appreciate this one. This was really good. Oh yeah, by the way, how I knew about the Alex Timmon about voicing this character. Sarah retweeted on Twitter. Yep. That's what I knew about it. But yeah, that's the final episode in a nutshell. Final thoughts on this whole season. Had a blast watching the show from start to finish. Yes, occasionally these last few episodes I've not been able to watch when they come out. Okay, fine. I admit it. This one was only just a day afterwards, but this is fine. At least it's not like the way it was last episode, which was episode 11. I watched it just 2 days ago, and that episode aired like a little over a week ago. Yep. Now, I enjoy what they adapted here. Now, it is quite strange, though. They basically cut a whole like sequence. I think it was like chapter 2 apparently for no reason. Yeah, they cut it out where he helps like a little girl. I'm not sure why this whole thing was cut. It was the only thing major was cut from the whole series. Now, one thing that some people do not like about this series is they include this scene, which is from the manga. It's about half of the season. It's before the stuff, the Katana Man stuff. It's the episode Hokuno when she gives Denji the kiss that as reward. She vomits in his mouth. And then he swallows it. Then he has a vomit afterwards. It was an absolute disgusting scene. Now, I gotta admit, when I read that in the manga, I felt disgusted the fact this was in the manga. And my only guess is the reason why that the studio who adapted this, and if you're curious who made this adaptation, it was MAPPA. Yes, it was MAPPA. They're the ones who adapt this thing. Now, my guess is the studio who is the team was making the episode probably were told by the Chainsaw Committee that despite the fact they probably did want to cut this particular moment, they had to keep it. Yes, they probably were forced to, or they liked the scene. Anybody who probably read the manga when this chapter came out probably felt disgusted when they read that chapter. Yes, I am surprised they actually adapted that scene. But that was the only thing about this anime I didn't like was that vomit thing. That was disgusting. Now, it's interesting, though, that Hikino takes Denji back to the apartment, and it's implied that she wants to have sex with him, but it doesn't happen. Though, here's the thing. Hokuno, I think, is supposed to be about 30, and Denji is like 18, 19 years old. You probably think, does he empower him together? No, they don't. He's in love with Mokuma. He and Power are just friends. That's it. Though she is the first woman he ever touched. She is actually the first woman where he's actually touched her chest because he really wanted to do that. And Hokuno with the first kiss, though, was a really gross thing to remember by. Yep. I think the dub actors did a great job. It is quite strange, though, for all the By the way, before I continue, who voiced the Katana Man, you might ask? Jason Marcona. Yep. That's who voiced him in the anime, and I gotta admit, this guy's look is amazing. I mean, a guy who has a freaking sword stick out of his head and his arm. I like the whole army look for him, which is so cool. Yeah, and he actually is the first major bad guy who gets arrested. Yeah, and he actually comes back for the final arc of the Public Safety Saga. He comes back for that, and of course they bring back another devil for a previous devil for most recent arc itself. But yeah, not much else to say about this particular series. It's good. Now, before I end this here, do I think that this series could get season 2? The answer is yes. The series is really good. I'm hoping Mappa do a season 2. Maybe have to get off their high end to do basically Attack on Titan, trying to finish Attack on Titan the final season, which taken 3 freaking years to cover this damn thing. And give this episode that I just watched today, this episode, even the episode came out yesterday. The episode was released like a month ago. Yeah, it takes a little while for these episodes to come out. That's what I was waiting for the dub. Because, you see, one thing that got me interested in watching the sub first over the dub over the sub is because of Sarah Weinhoff. She's the main reason why. Yep. And she, in the episode Spirit of Power, she basically did an excellent job voicing her. It was absolutely fantastic to hear her voice, because here's a strange thing. Because it was like nothing after I met her, because I heard about Chainsaw Man happening, and all of a sudden I heard that she was voicing Power. I'm like, that is so cool. The fact that she gets a chance to do this for this series. A series I was definitely looking forward to watching. And of course, I had to read the manga before the series came out. Excuse me. Which I did. I basically got through the manga pretty quickly. I'm actually up to the most recent chapter release, 118. It took me a little while, but I did eventually get the entire series done. And reading Power's dialogue in the manga, and since I know what Sarah Weinhoff sounds like, both in person and how she voices characters, I'm like, perfect choice to voice his character. Though occasionally she has a reputation for some of the older characters who are adults, has a tendency to voice characters who, well, a couple characters I know she's voiced, the characters have a thing for having a big chest. Power doesn't. But I think she does an excellent job. Now, I don't know if she actually has a cat like another voice actress I know. Oh, by the way, I did tell Brandon Knickerbocker I did actually talk to her. I did mention her one of the episodes. And she's like, really? I don't know if she's watched the episode review or not. I have no idea. Yeah, if you watch it, thank you. Even though here's the thing. Brianna never did an episode for the series. I only brought it up because basically the passing of her cat. That she had, her wonderful cat. And she's just gotten 2 cute cats that she posted on Twitter just a few weeks ago. I think it was just a couple weeks ago. Very cute cats. They're like so adorable. And she appreciated my comment, basically. She actually liked my tweet that I sent her when I commented on her tweet about her cats. Yep. But, yeah. Here's the strange thing, though. I did try to talk to Sarah on one of her last Twitch streams. She wasn't really talking for some reason. I'm not sure why. She just did whatever and just turned out. I don't know what her thing is with her. I have been on her thing quite some time. But yeah, not much to say about this. Okay, I'm going to end it here. Next up, it's going to be Comic Corner. That's going to be it for Video Snack. Okay, next video. Bye.